Hello girls, this is Zephy from I'm Zephy and I Love to Scrap. I have a project I want to share with you today. It's a notebook and I would call it more like a journal or a place where one can ledger, where one can keep records of things. And as you can see, it's very male. It's for my son-in-law who has a birthday today, so I'm going to take it to him in a while. And he has started collecting nice wines. He doesn't actually have a proper cellar right yet, or like a bar, because originally I wanted to make him a big notice board, but he hasn't really got a place to hang it up. So what I thought I'll do in the meantime is make him a book in which he can keep his receipts, he can keep notes about each bottle of wine, and he can maybe even put photos in it of us drinking his lovely wines. So I've bound the book with a spiral, okay, and I have given it like a proper cover. I have used Prima papers, a few from the Almanac collection, the A4 stack, and some ledger papers. All the ledger papers are also Prima. So what I did is I took a piece of black cardstock, I cut strips of chipboard, which I inked up with my distress stains, and then I embossed them, heat embossed them with my brown distress embossing powder. I just want to confirm the name, the weathered, this walnut stain. And then I added a bit of broken china distress embossing powder around it. And I cut my angles at 45 degrees. I don't know if you can see there, so that I can get a nice corner. And I just have a little Tim Holtz page corner there. So I very carefully cut slivers of cork and glued them on. I glued these on with hot glue. And then here where I wanted the title, I cut the cork, but I cut, after I'd cut off the little edges, I cut about 2 pieces of like this off each side, and then I proceeded to slice the cork into little slices like that. Can you see it comes off there? Be very careful. I at the end used a craft knife. I used a very fine one. I use this. So just be very careful, because it's very easy to cut yourself. I love the one over here, even has a website. A little antique key. This alphabet is from the new, this one here, Wordplay alphabet. Really nice. What I did is I used the U instead of the N, because I wanted it to be a little bit more bold. The N is small. The N is almost the size of the O. So I flipped the U around, and it's like the same size as the E there. So it says notes 12. I know I should have perhaps had a comma over there. I might still do that. Last night on Ustream, I was sticking these on. I first started with a Claudia Helmut multi-medium. I see it has stuck, but it wasn't sticking fast enough. And then Mitra suggested I use Arlene's Tacky Glue, so I used the original for the TE and the S and the 12. And that seemed to stick a lot faster. And then what I did once it had stuck, oh, let me just go back. You can see that the letters have a shadow. I first cut the letters out of black cardstock, and then I thought, no, they're not thick enough. So I cut them out again out of the cereal box. And I stacked them, but I left I didn't stack them on exactly the same, so I left the cereal box to make a tiny little highlight, just to give the letters a bit of dimension, okay? Then I wanted something dangly, and you can see this on Ustream as well. I wanted to have a little bit of movement on the page, so I added this. What I did here was I just punched a hole in between the corks there, and I put the chain through, and on the back of this I have a little link, a little loop like this that I glued down, so that's holding the chain in. Okay, so let's just begin. I've used 6 envelopes, so there is a ledger page, a pocket, and then a pattern paper page so that you can put photos and stuff, and then a ledger again. I'll show you the pockets afterwards. So that's basically how it is. And then I added a graphic 45 page in between here. I thought it matched quite nicely. The colors all matched. So this can be a space for him to keep all his things, his photos, his receipts, a little, hold it all until he gets a chance to file them and put them where he wants them to be. So that's a pocket on both sides. Some more ledger. I did stamp a little bit with the Tim Holtz stamps. And this is a little farmer. I thought, oh, you can't see that. He's not exactly growing grapes, but anyway. And then each pocket has a little file, which he can put photos in here, he can slip papers in between here, he can do what he wants. That's my little message to him. Then I made him a little glassine bag. He can put whatever he wants there. I cut tabs. I showed on Ustream how I did these tabs. I cut them out of my border die, on the edge die actually. I use this. You just fold the paper and put it short of the blade, and then you can cut out tabs. So use your, those are the helicopters. We're having fires all over Athens today. It's a fire. So I added a bit of metal, sorry for the noise. I added some metal on each little folio just to give it some, make it a little bit more masculine. And then what I did with this, I had these circles left over, so I just stacked them. I wanted to use the clock and I couldn't put it in the layout, it just didn't seem to work. So I stacked it up with a clock, and I've covered it with Claudia Helmet Multimedia, and it's just a little paper clip that you can use to clip stuff on. This was actually quite a quick project. I started it on Friday afternoon, late Friday afternoon, and I finished it yesterday. This here is pink paisley. What did I say it was called? I've used this scrap. The Notting Hill collection. I'll show you the scrap. And because this piece of paper had the peppermint green and a bit of pink and the yellow that I've used, I thought it's quite nice, and I thought the map was quite masculine. So, and then this little die cut is from My Mind's Eye. And that's also My Mind's Eye. That's the Notting Hill paper, the pink paisley. And that is Prima, the almanac. Very, very simple. So he actually needs to personalize the book now. Up to him. And this one I just thought I put some string on it just for some interest. And there again is the pink paisley, the Notting Hill. Oh, this is what I did with the top That is the name of the paper, but I've just incorporated it into a tag. So that's my project, ladies. I hope you like it. I love to read your comments. And this here is actually a piece of wallpaper from my samples, but it could have, this was as long as it was. When I look at it here, you can see that it's torn a tiny bit. It needed to have just a little bit more in this pleat so that it could have more play. It's a bit tight. And if you want to bind your book like this, I would advise that on this section of this inner paper, you reinforce it maybe with some tape, maybe with some Tyvek. In fact, that's what I should have put on it. I should have put a strip of Tyvek underneath here before I punched the holes, so that this can be a little bit stronger. But you know what? We live and learn. And that's why we do videos, so we can share our experiences and our mistakes, and let others see and learn. Okay, girls. All I need to do now is just sign it, and my book's ready. Bye. Have a lovely Sunday.